YouTube, what's going on for Battlefield 1? We got a brand new behemoth. I got tons of time and gameplay with my hands on, and I'm letting you know where to find this, where exactly this thing spawns in, so you can increase your chances of getting that driver's seat, why you'd want that driver's seat. I'm also going to give you the info on which seat to get if you can't get the driver's seat, which seat is best, which gun is best, and how powerful this thing is for one-hitting enemy tanks, destroying them from 100% health. This thing is a tank hunting beast, alright, and it's massive, but it's very hard to control, so we're going to get into that. I'm going to let you guys know what to do with it, what not to do with it, so once this DLC releases, you can get your hands on it. You won't be that noob that everybody's getting annoyed with because you destroyed the behemoth. Alright, this thing can really wreck. Alright, so we're going to get into the info momentarily. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned with everything we got here on the channel for you. Now, before we get into the gameplay, let's give you the actual history of this thing. This thing is the Char 2C. This new behemoth is the Char 2C, also known as the FCM2C, and it was a French super heavy tank developed during World War I. It wasn't deployed until after the war, and it was in physical dimensions the largest operational tank ever made. Just to give you an idea of the sheer size of this thing, when you see this thing moving across the map, it draws tons of attention, both from teammates and enemies alike. So one tip that I have for you is you gotta keep moving. Yes, this thing can take a beating, it can take tons of damage, but once you crest that hill and the enemy sees all the smoke coming off of that thing and that just huge, massive hunk of metal moving, you will draw attention. Now, handling wise, look at this right here. This thing handles like a potato. It cannot really turn. If you think you're gonna hop into this thing and start driving it like a normal tank, you will be surprised. You will get stuck. You will try to make K turns and it'll turn into 5, 10, 15, 20 point K turns. You will not be able to just turn on a dime with this thing. So keep that in mind. As you see right here in the video, just turning to the left, I got to edge out a little bit, start my turn, then I've got to back it up, then I've got to pause, I got to back up, then I've got to go back forward again. Keep in mind, when you're trying to make these turns and the turn isn't happening, be very quick to reverse. Be very quick to reverse, because if you don't reverse, you're never going to make that turn, and you're just going to get frustrated. You're going to get pelted with rockets, and you're never going to make those turns. Now, when it comes to the seating chart, as you can see here, number 1 is the main spot. That's the one who's controlling everything, controlling the cannon, moving this awesome beast of a machine across the map. Number 3, the reason why we're going to skip everything else is because number 3 is so important, because he's also right in front. He's only got a cannon, and he doesn't have this strong cannon like the number 1 spot has, but he has a huge task to make sure that no rockets, no anti-tank rockets, no infantry, nothing is hitting that number 1 spot. Because if the number 1 cannon is struck directly for 30 seconds, that is out of commission, meaning enemy tanks, meaning once they see that that thing is out of commission, you better believe you're going to get pelted with everything that they have. So that number 3 spot is highly important. We're going to skip 4 and 5 because those are regular machine guns on the sides. You're just keeping people from flanking. But number 2, that number 2 spot, you have an awesome field of view. Although you're facing the rear, you can almost do a 360 complete field of view, taking out any threats left, right, anybody trying to flank. And also, if you really had to, some air support, but I highly wouldn't recommend focusing on air support for this. This is just keeping all the threats at the ground level away from the tank. Now, I'm going to tell you something I think is so important. No matter if you're in seat 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you need to focus on the different levels of threats against the behemoth. So, for example, if you have number 1, that main cannon, what you want to focus on is the light armor and the heavy tanks. If there are no light armor and no heavy tanks, then take out the assault, because they got the anti-tank rockets who can put you out of commission, and support, because they can throw those anti-tank grenades. Everybody else, don't really worry about them. Medics running around, ignore them. The recon is shooting you with K bullets, ignore them. The K bullets are like shooting you with spit wads, ignore them. Save that extra reload time, save that armor, save that ammo for the actual threats against that thing. So, for example, if you're in seats 2, 3, 4, or 5, you see a recon running around, forget about them. Focus on assault. Take out that assault so they can't hit you with the anti-tank rockets. Also, don't focus too much on the air. Yes, of course, the planes can drop bombs on you, which starts to get annoying after a while, but I really wouldn't focus on the air. Really focus on those threats on the ground. That's just a tip I have for you. Here's something that took me a lot of time to figure out, but I've got it down for you on both the map Rupture and soissions, the exact spawn points of this thing, so you know exactly where to go and exactly when to go, okay? If your team is losing by, say, about $150 to 200 points, make your way to your main base. I don't care which team you're on, make your way to your main base. And if you're playing on the map Rupture, if you're on the French side, you're going to go to the south side of the map, and the south road at your main spawn is right exactly where that thing is going to spawn in. On the flip side, if you're playing as the German team, you're going to want to go to the west road in the main base. The west side of the road behind one of the two buildings, it will spawn in every single time. So that should really help you out with getting into that first seat, getting the gunner seat, getting the driver's seat, and having some fun with this thing. If you're playing on the map Soissions and you're playing as the French team, it will spawn on the main road that leads from your base to Delta Point. And if you're playing on the German side, it'll spawn on the main road leading from your base at the brick wall. Just follow the brick wall and it spawns at the end of that wall. Now, before I get out of here, two tips I want to give you. Number one, be careful. Always check your surroundings. If you have to go to third person before you start turning and maneuvering in this thing, I highly recommend it, because it is very frustrating if you get this thing stuck. You'll get it stuck in trenches, behind walls, in water, and it will not move, and you're just stuck sitting there getting pelted with rockets. And then the other gunners inside of it pretty much look at you like you're an idiot. And number two, do not base camp. If you're base camping in a tank, that's already shame on you. But do not base camp in the Behemoth. I've seen it too many times in the CTE, as this clip right here I'll show you. You do not want to base camp with it. You're pretty much making your Behemoth useless for the entire team. It's down below in the comments. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions, feel free to hit me up. Also, just to keep in mind that we were only able to play on the map Rupture and Soissions on the CTE. So if the additional map actually has the Char 2C Behemoth in it, I will update this video accordingly. Thanks for watching.